Hey, what is up guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Gran Turismo 7 news video. As you're probably aware, PlayStation is celebrating its 30th anniversary this year, and part of the celebration is the announcement of a new version of Gran Turismo called My First GT. Now in terms of what this is, information is extremely limited. All we've got so far is the sort of, I guess, trailer screenshot or presentation, poster for it, whatever you want to call it, as well as information that all this really is about bringing back that nostalgia of the original Gran Turismo franchise. Honestly, apart from that, everything else is speculation until Polyphony come out and say exactly what this is. So if anyone's saying they've got insider information, they're probably lying through their teeth. Now in terms of this video, I'm here to purely speculate on what I think this may be. Now, one thing that Kaz was trying to do, I believe in the early 2000s, is a project called Gran Turismo for Boys. This was essentially a light version of Gran Turismo with simplified physics and things like that, that made it much more accessible way back in the day. This project did end up being cancelled in the end, and this kind of seems like it may be along those lines. However, in terms of the actual game itself, it's probably just going to be a demoed version of Gran Turismo 7 that is going to play on all the nostalgia with some of the original tracks there, and possibly some of the original selection of cars that were there back in the day. I guess in a sense it's going to be a sort of free-to-play Gran Turismo Lite version that is going to be accessible to everybody. Of course, that is one thing we do know, it's going to be free for everyone to play. So in terms of this version, it is probably just going to be a big taster, bringing back all that nostalgia, sucker people in, and then they'll kind of go on to actually buy the full-blown version of Gran Turismo 7. I honestly think that that is all it's going to be, and it's just there to kind of, you know, put the taster out as PlayStation's main racing franchise, play on the nostalgia strings and get those long-term players coming back and purchasing the full version. So with this being free to play, they're probably not going to give away too much. Now in terms of the actual nostalgia that this is supposed to evoke in players, I think we'll probably see a track selection of the likes of maybe Trial Mountain, Deep Forest, kind of all the originals that were there in the first few Gran Turismo games, to kind of show them off in the kind of Gran Turismo 7 style. This way you're kind of sucking those players in, they're getting a taste of courses they might have played, you know, 25 odd years ago when the game first launched, and then they'll kind of get the nostalgia as well with some of those original cars. Now one car that pretty much seems confirmed is of course what we see from the actual image, which is of course one of the Lamborghini Countaches. Now in terms of that car, that's pretty much confirmed. So I think the route they'll go down is basically just bringing in all of these cars that have been fairly iconic to the series over the years, a selection of fairly iconic circuits as well, and that will probably be the lot. I don't think this is going to be a full-blown version of Gran Turismo 7, and I don't think it's really going to be that separate. I think it's going to be a very curated, carefully selected selection of tracks and cars, and that's going to be your lot. Now again, I am hopeful that this does turn into a full thing where we do actually get some more extra tracks, maybe there's some extra cars coming along, or to play on those nostalgia kind of strings and, you know, celebrate that 30th PlayStation anniversary. But again, it takes a lot of time to get these done, and there's not really any rumours at all about any more returning original tracks, at least at present. If we also head back to the leaked car list, you'll know now that there's a lot of those nostalgic cars that are already in game, and there's only really a couple more that might have the ability to kind of tug on those nostalgia strings. So overall, I think in terms of the car selection, pretty much what's already in game in terms of the older vehicles are probably going to be what's selected from. Now if we look at when this has been revealed in September, there's only 3 months until December hits, and that's honestly when I think we'll probably see this get released, towards the start of December, to get people testing it out and, you know, celebrating the whole 30th anniversary of PlayStation, and basically, you know, PlayStation and Polyphony will then end up getting more sales of GT7, you know, come the proper holiday season when people are buying gifts. I think that's all this is really going to be. I don't think it's going to be much more than a chopped up, carefully created version of GT7 to give people a taster, tug on the nostalgia strings, and then people go ahead and buy the full version. So honestly, anyone that's saying they've got insider information, it's probably a load of rubbish, at least at present. The information is very, very vague on this. There's really not much known. There's not much being given away. So everything at present is purely speculation. Just take everything with a, you know, pinch of salt at this present time at least. We'll probably see more about this in around about November time. Again, just before it kind of launches, they'll probably say that this is what it's going to be, this is what it's going to include. Now, of course, when it does launch, I'll give it a test and just see if anything's kind of changed from what we see in GT7 and just how, you know, different it really is. However, I will actually admit that I'm pretty excited to see what they do select, and it's going to be pretty cool to see a different version of Gran Turismo. It's almost like a modern day prologue from the likes of Gran Turismo 4, 5 and all that kind of stuff. That's kind of something I've missed, especially when GT7 launched without a prologue version. I kind of feel like this is sort of, I guess, going back to those days. So I guess in a sense I'm pretty excited to check this out. And don't get me wrong, when it does launch I will go through it. I'll check out what's kind of there, if it differs in any way, because I think it would be quite cool to actually compare what my first GT is in comparison to the full-blown GT7 at present, or at that present moment, should I say. So there we go. Anything you hear at minute is purely speculation. Take it with a pinch of salt. I don't think this is going to be really anything more than basically a fancy demoed version of GT7. Anyway, let me know what you think it's going to be down below. Take care, guys. Peace.